live. Okay. This thing is still really loose. Hey everybody. We are just north of the courthouse square in Denton, Texas. We're getting ready to walk up to the courthouse lawn. Just give me a second to finish getting set up and I'll get you guys some more feedback and we'll get this picture squared away. So I am streaming today on Facebook and YouTube. We are just north of the Denton County Courthouse lawn on the historic county square. And we are gonna head that way now here in just a second. So if you've been following this story, Darius Tarver is a UNT student shot and killed by City of Denton police in January of last year, 2020. Local authorities, including Police Chief Frank Dixon, I'm not on TikTok, Tristan, not for a while. Check out my backup account, Jaima, for an explanation. Anyway, local authorities have spent more than a year providing disinformation regarding the truth surrounding DJ's killing. DJ was in the midst of a mental health crisis and holding a frying pan when Denton police officer Douglas Downing shot and killed him. After Denton police officer Ryan Spivey tased him twice. If you want the full story, I would suggest go to Living Blue, Texas. You can just Google Living Blue in Texas. Go to that blog and Google the name Darius Tarver. You can read the article. Michelle with Living Blue in Texas should be here moderating on the Facebook feed relatively soon. And I'm sure she will post a link to that article. We are just coming up on the square. Oh, I gotta get my mask. One step missing.
You want me to hold it?
Yeah, can you hold Deva? I knew I was missing something. So today, the family of Darius Tarver is holding a rally after the grand jury gave a no bill for the two officers.
Let's go. If we're going to go, let's spend 9 seconds.
So there is a increased police presence. Show you guys the lawn here. See if I can flip my camera around. It's a small gathering, it's still early. There's Mr. Kevin Tarver, father of Darius Tarver. Let me take these. So we had some signs made for today. Pastor Tarver, you have anybody you can designate to hold one of these signs up here? If you want to. I mean, I thought it'd be a good idea. I don't think they'll sit up here in the wind. If not, I'm just going to tuck them. I'm just going to tuck them here, and whoever wants to hold one. Hi.
I'll take one.
You want to take one?
Yeah, I'll take one. You know, you got volunteers,
Excellent. Hold them high and make sure we get them back so we can use them again. Anybody else want to help broadcast the names of the Denton officers who killed Darius Tarver? Anybody else bold enough to hold the sign? Excellent. Thank you. Hold it high and make sure everyone can see it. So what we did is we ID'd the officers who murdered Darius Tarver based on body cam footage and open records requests. The local police chief, Frank Dixon, has been hiding the identities of the officers who killed DJ. So we are putting them on blast. Hi, Michelle. Thank you. Hey, can you post a link to the Living Blue Texas article?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I was telling folks they could go to Living Blue in Texas to get more about DJ's story. I was hoping you could post that article and pin it to the comments in the Facebook feed. So again, we are at the Denton County Courthouse lawn where friends and family of DJ Tarver are gathering in protest of the January 2020 murder of Darius Tarver, who was in the midst of a mental health crisis, a UNT student, criminal justice student, who was in a terrible car wreck which induced a mental health crisis and was shot and murdered by Denton police officer Douglas Downing for holding a frying pan while his face was covered in stitches, while he was obviously in the midst of a mental health crisis caused by a physical head trauma. And so last week, Denton County Grand Jury, which was heavily misinformed by the repeated lies of Denton Police Chief Frank Dixon and Denton County DA Paul Johnson. As a result, the grand jury came back with no bill, so we are coming out today in solidarity with the family and friends of Darius Tarver to demand justice, to put these cops on notice and let them know that they will not be able to kill with immunity. If we can't get justice in the courts, we will surely at least make sure that our community is safe by knowing who the killer cops on our streets are. We need to know who these killer cops are. We need to be able to identify killer cops in our community. And so today is about saying their names too and making sure that no one else is killed by these cops. Hey, oh. Good boy. Good boy, Deva. It's still a little early. If you're watching on Facebook, I believe Michelle's going to post a link for the Living Blue in Texas article where you can read more information about Darius and his story. Again, we are at the Denton County Courthouse in Denton, Texas. I'm just going to kind of do a walkthrough, let you guys see some of the signs folks are holding today. So again, we made some of these large signs here to expose Darius's murderers. Lots of memorial signs for Darius. Again, this was a UNT student. Criminal justice student looking to become an officer himself. Come on. Deva, come. And again, Darius was shot and killed in the midst of a mental health crisis. You'll see that some of our protesters out here today are carrying frying pans. As according to Denton police, a frying pan is a deadly weapon. Let's see those deadly weapons. This is what got Darius Tarver murdered. Holding a frying pan. Feel free to reach out to Police Chief Frank Dixon, Denton County District Attorney Paul Johnson. Let them know that no bill or not, we will have justice for Darius Tarver, and we will put these killer cops on blast. Everyone will know who they are. They may have immunity, but they don't have an anonymity. Not anymore. Sit. Sit. Good boy. It was really, really sad to learn that the Tarver family just lost another member of their family. I don't know the details, but it doesn't matter. Just knowing that they have just this week lost another young member of their community. It is really sad to hear. This family has been through so much, and Pastor Tarver, DJ's dad, has become a real voice for justice, not even for his own son, but just in general, for victims of police brutality, not only throughout Texas, but also in the nation. And, it just speaks to his willingness to pursue justice in the face of his own trauma and his own family struggle. I'm just so disheartened to hear that they've had to endure another loss. So you can see, if you're not familiar with the Denton, Texas area, this is a historic courthouse lawn. Right here is where a Confederate monument stood for more than 100 years until last summer we finally were able to get it taken down. That's a long story, but basically the Commissioner's Court used racist reasoning to do so. Regardless, it's gone. We'll take it one step at a time. So it looks like Michelle in the Facebook feed just posted the link to Darius Tarver's story from livingbluetexas.com. And I think she can pin that for us there at the top if you'd like to read more about DJ's story, who we're out here for today. And so this is the historic Denton County Courthouse lawn. You'll see there's lots of folks riding bikes, having nice lunch across the street with patios. And so we're here today to make sure that everyone lounging about on this beautiful Saturday afternoon knows that while they enjoy their nice Saturday brunch, there are killer cops on our streets murdering our university students. Darius Tarver was a UNT student working on his second degree in criminal justice. Again, not that it should matter, not that we should have to qualify the value of anyone's life, but the point is, this system is so corrupt. It's taking the lives of the very people working diligently to become a part of it, to help participate in reform. It is almost tactical at this point. Darius Tarver's father is Kevin Tarver, pastor, chaplain for the City of McKinney Police Department. And not only have local authorities worked to defame the legacy of Darius Tarver, but they've also worked to criminalize and defame the efforts of Darius's family, to belittle them and their efforts to pursue justice. Sit. Deva, sit. Sit. Come on. It's okay. Sit. Hey. Deva, sit. Good boy. Good boy. I got a helper with me today. He's still young and learning, but he's doing very good. Very proud of him. Everyone say hi, Deva. Deva. Say hi. Good boy. Hey, baby. So we've got, I would say right now there's approximately altogether maybe 3 dozen. Sit. Hey, ow. 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 Good boy. Good boy. Hey. Deva. Good boy. Good. Sit. Deva, sit. Good boy. So there's about, I would say people are dispersed, so it's hard to tell exactly who's here for who, but I would say there's at least 3 dozen, maybe 2.5 dozen folks here in support of Darius Tarver. It's still a little early, so I'm hoping we'll see. I was hoping for 100 heads today. This is the first time post the grand jury no bill that we've organized a rally. There's been discussions that we might be doing something consistently and regularly, which I really hope. I would love to be a part of that. I think it's really important that we keep this conversation relevant, that we keep saying DJ's name, that we keep putting these killer cops on blast. Denton has a long history of racism, thoroughly embedded within our local history and our community. As I was mentioning earlier, the Confederate monument, which used to be here, which took 100 years to get removed, but even still, I'm going to walk over to this monument here that still exists. This is a likely fake grave. This is a tombstone for the namesake of Denton, John B. Denton, a militant Puritan Methodist Protestant who infiltrated the indigenous lands here in North Texas along with droves of other Anglo-Saxon settlers, of whom I am a descendant, and volunteered to ride more than 50 miles in order to slaughter an indigenous community, the last holdouts on Trinity Creek, the Village Creek massacre. You can look that up on the Texas State Historical Association. So you can see someone's even left him roses here. This murdering white supremacist, a blatant murdering white supremacist. He's honored as somebody who defended Denton against, quote, savage Indians, but of course that's not true. He was a white supremacist like most of the Methodist settlers who believed that white people were ordained by Yahweh to take over and claim the North American continent and the South American continent for that matter, but to establish a new Israel. Well, I'm not a descendant of Anglo-Saxons, that's such a BS term, but I'm the descendant of colonizers, that's for sure. The term Anglo-Saxon is such BS because it's really just a racist term. It doesn't even have a scientific definition. Sorry, he's a working dog.
I'm sorry, too. Didn't mean for that to happen.
Oh, you're okay. Totally normal. Anyway, so this man is heroized in the local community. We named a city, a county, a college after him, a creek, high school. But really, again, he was someone, Anglo-Saxon does not have a scientific definition. We'll get into that in another feed sometime, but no. Anglo-Saxon is a socio-political term that's been used with a variety of definitions, but when it comes to a scientific Anglo-Saxon genetic heritage, it doesn't exist. It's not such a thing. Because race isn't real. It's a social construct. I'm not sure exactly. Can't verify. So again, this man was a white supremacist, self-proclaimed. He volunteered to ride more than 50 miles to murder an indigenous settlement and has now been heroized as someone who defended this area, which isn't true. So, looks like maybe people are gathering here for a speaker. Yeah, I'd still say we're sitting at about 3 dozen folks. Oh, Denton. There's always something. And then there's this guy driving through Denton with his geodesic orb on the back of his car. Because that's Denton. So crazy. It does look like we have some more folks showing up. Yeah, I'll be interested to hear, Michelle, if anybody talks about George Floyd today. I've certainly been spending more time than I probably should be following the trial, but it's hard not to, it's such a pivotal thing. It's just kind of something I've had going in the background every day, but yeah, it's really cool to see Texas showing out. Hopefully we'll get to continue to have positive showing outs for that case. I keep flashing back to like Rodney King. Everybody thought Rodney King's assailants would be charged, and then, that's just one example. We've seen it so many times, right? We all know that the system is broken. That's the whole point. I just love seeing these Black Lives Matter flags flying around on our courthouse lawn. I can hear the whispers of Antifa coming from the patio tables across the street. Look at them, they're back. Okay, buddy, keep walking. That's what I'm talking about. I want to see a local push here in Denton. I want to see a city and county-wide movement to end qualified immunity. There's no excuse or reason for it. How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you. He's working right now, so he can't say hello. Sit. Good boy. He's doing a great job. This is his second protest. Very proud of him. He's doing a good job. He's still a baby, so I thought this would be a good opportunity for him to get a little more time under his belt. He's a German Shepherd. Yeah. Sometimes the universe just brings you exactly who you need. Deva. Deva his job today is to be observant. That's Deva's job. And he's doing a very good job of that. He's watching me and everyone around me nonstop. So that's his job today, and he's doing a great job. And to not bark at people unless I tell him to, which he's mostly done fine. It's those other pesky dogs that are a problem. So I do see City Council person Deb Armantour. Let's go talk to Miss Armantour. Come. Let's go see if we can talk to Miss Armantour. So it does appear to be some more folks here, I would say maybe closer to 4 dozen or so now. Hey, how are you doing? Good. Sit. I wanted to come over and talk with you for a minute. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Cool. Do you mind if we step over there just in the shade? Is that cool? Thank you.
Yeah. By the way, Jessica, this is Paul Bryant from Denton Record Corner.
Hi, nice to see you.
Jessica.
Nice to see you.
Rummel?
Rummel.
That's,
Yep.
That's how I pronounce it in my head.
Just because the heat makes my phone overheat, you know.
He's like, I'm bigger than that guy.
I know, David's doing a really good job, but that dog's like, I don't like that dog. Okay, I think this is good. Oh. So,
we'll talk. Should we talk after?
oh, is this the nine?
Yeah,
Oh,
good.
okay.
We'll talk after.
Yep. So right now they're playing a song by Quentin Tarver, Darius Tarver's nephew. So this is a memorial song written by Quentin Tarver, also recently deceased. It's live. Yep, it's on YouTube. Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, it'll be on YouTube and Facebook. Yep.
Are you with someone?
Just me. So I'd say 2, 4, 6, 18. I would say there's maybe almost 50 people here now, congregating on the lawn.
It's a daily struggle out here to survive. Yeah, liberty and justice for all. It doesn't apply to us in this American way of life. We are aware of the motives and agenda at hand. That's why we come together and we take a stand.
So right now, I would say we're closer to 50 people. If you're in the Denton area, please come down and just stand in solidarity with us for Darius Tarver. I know Susie. That sounds familiar, but I don't know that I know Susie. I don't know that I could pledge to that. Susie who? So I'm going to come back and interview Deb a little later after Pastor Tarver speaks. Sorry for the shaking, y'all. Give me just a second. I'm adjusting some stuff here. So again, we're listening to a song that was recorded by Quentin Tarver, cousin, I believe. Definitely close family member of the Tarver family, of Darius Tarver, who also is recently deceased.
Shots fired.
Looks like we have Lee Merritt here. I would say closer to, definitely still holding in about 50 people now. No, I don't, Michelle. I don't know. Yeah, so it looks like here with Kevin Tarver, we do have Lee Merritt, who I know is definitely one of the Tarver family attorneys. There's a view of the crowd here. Again, you can see we've got folks here holding frying pans. Let's see your deadly weapon. There it is. In Denton, Texas, beware if you send your students to UNT or TWU. If they're holding a frying pan, they could be legally shot and murdered by Denton police officers for holding a deadly weapon. This officer here to the right on this board, Douglas Downing, is a Little Elm resident. He lives in Little Elm, doesn't even live in the Denton community, Douglas Downing. That's who shot and killed Darius Tarver after his partner there to the left, Ryan Spivey, tased and escalated the situation on twice. And he is a resident of Fort Worth, also not a resident of the city of Denton. Yet both of these officers are allowed to drive into our community every day, put on a badge and carry a gun, and murder the residents of our community with qualified immunity. Yeah, Lee Merritt is running for Texas Attorney General. And so you can see the audience that exists across the street here. Oh, we do have some local news. Hey, what channel are you with? Channel 5. Cool, thanks for being here. Surprised to see actual local coverage. You can see the white family across the street there on the patio. They're having a nice little lunch, taking pictures, making memories out of it. You know, nothing like, sit, good boy. Making a nice little afternoon out of it here. Back in the day when white mobs or ordained white men publicly killed and lynched black people, it was common that white people would gather to take souvenirs and photos while they enjoyed an afternoon lunch. I can't help but see the comparison when I look across the street at the predominantly white families moving on about their day, enjoying their lunch and their ice cream, while across the street people come to mourn the murder of one of our residents, one of our local university students, who in a moment of mental health crisis when he needed help, who was a criminal justice student learning what he needed to help launch the reforms in policing that he believed in. He was shot and murdered, treated like an animal, that local authorities, the Denton police officer Douglas Downing and Ryan Spivey and several others refused to touch. Instead, they shot and killed him. Why? Well, their excuse, he had a frying pan. And so this is why we're gathered here right now. And it looks like Pastor Tarver may be getting ready to speak. I'm going to move up here. Space.
2, 1. 2, 1, 2, check.
Space.
1,
Space.
2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Sit. Sit. Eva, sit.
How's everybody doing?
Good boy.
Just trying to check to see if y'all can hear. Can everybody hear?
Yes.
Well, give us about 5 more minutes and then we're going to get started. And before we start, how many like the song that you heard? Well, that's the DJT anthem. At the same time, it's part of our movement. But if you didn't know, the young man that wrote this song and performed it, if any of you familiar with Romeo and Juliet and all that, he was the one that did all the singing, and that happened to be my nephew. And he was part of this fight on behalf of Darius. And this song was a part of what he wanted to contribute to the DJT Justice Network. And on Thursday night, he was in a car accident and lost his life. So this song is very important to me. It's part of his contribution to this fight for justice for Darius. And this song is on every digital output that's out there. Spotify, Rhapsody, it's on everything. And if you want to see the video, if you go to YouTube, it's going to be Quindon Tarver, Quindon, Quindon Tarver, and the song is going to be Stand Our Ground. And that's what we're doing today, stand our ground. Because we know what happened was not just a tragedy, but it was a crime. So we're going to stand our ground. And if you give us a couple of minutes, we're going to get up and get started. But we just appreciate everybody that's coming out to support today, because unity is what counts. Because as we stand together, we move together, we pray together, we love together. It doesn't matter what color you are, it doesn't matter what background you come from, it doesn't matter how you was raised, but as adults, we have to be a part of the change today, because if we don't make a change now, things will continue to happen the way they happen. But that's why this song is important, because no matter what's going on, we're going to stand our ground. And I challenge you to say that with me today. Stand our ground.
Stand our ground.
What are we going to do?
Stand our ground.
What are we going to do?
Stand our ground.
Because we're going to continue to fight for justice. And where there's no justice, there is what?
No peace.
And we're going to have peace before this is all over, because we're going to bring change to Denton. We're going to bring change to Texas. We're going to bring change all across this country, because this death will not be in vain.
That's right. And so that was Pastor Kevin Tarver, father of Darius Tarver, who just spoke there. And again, I think he's going to play Quindon Tarver's song one more time, which is the DJT Justice Network anthem. No, sir. No, sir. Hey, sit. 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 Good boy. Hey. Space. Space. Good. Sit. Let's go for a walk. Let's go for a walk. Hey, yeah, what's going on? She was just asking me if I knew you. I'm glad we could get introduced. Yes. Thank you for coming and bringing people in support. This person wants justice for Darius. Like to see it. My dog's not happy that there's another dog here. Another big dog. He wants to be the only dog. No, Ava. Ava. No, you cannot play. Nope. 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 No. Dava really wants to play. It sucks because he sounds so vicious, but he just wants to play.
Let us bow our heads for a moment of prayer.
He wants to play. He's like, but Mom, I see them.
Father, we
Hi,
thank you
good
this
to see you,
afternoon
friend.
for an opportunity
Good,
to
thanks for
stand,
being
to
here.
sit, to prepare our hearts and our minds with what you gifted us to be able to do. We recognize today is a day like never before. Today is a weekend like never before. The mere fact that we're able to be here, that we're living life as a miracle.
Yeah.
Despite injustices, despite setbacks, dilemmas, despite distress, despite pain, despite frustration, despite anger, despite everything that we're dealing with right now emotionally, despite everything that we're dealing with physically, we stand together as people of all different colors, shades, and backgrounds, denominations. We stand today to declare that this is a day of victory. I declare that this is victory. We know that the opponent, we know that the enemy will try to stop the progression, the movement, the advancement. And we declare today that we take back our lives. We resurrect Darius Tarver, and that his death will not fall prey. And we resurrect other lives that have been taken, that have been moved. This is Resurrection Weekend, so we resurrect their dreams. We resurrect their aspirations. We resurrect everything in their lives, and we even resurrect our own minds. We come against mindsets and mentalities. We come against anger. We come against anxiety. We come against dementia. We come against everything that will try to separate us from who we are and what we are. And we stand today to let you know that our lives matter, that our dreams matter, that our aspirations matter, that our children and our grandchildren and our children that we haven't seen, that they matter, and that we are going to stand still. We are going to stand tall. We are going to stand out. We're going to shout. We're going to march. We're going to walk. We're going to dance. But we're going to believe that one day that justice is going to happen. We may not see it in our lifetime. We may not see it today, tomorrow, or next week. But as long as we, the people of God, have faith to believe that yes, my life is not my own. To you I belong. To you I have strength. So right now, as we stand together, just put up a hand of solidarity, of peace, of unity, and know that I'm lifting up my hand today because there's strength in my hand. I lift up my hand today because there's power in my hand. I lift up my hand today in solidarity to let you know that despite what I'm going through and what I'm feeling, I lift up my hand. I lift up my nation. I lift up me as a people. I lift up for those that can't lift up their hands today. And I'm just lifting to let you know that I'm not giving in, that I'm not quitting, that I'm not fighting. I may be tired. I may be in a place where I can't understand things, but I'm lifting together this day. On the 3rd of April of 2021, we are unifying and lifting up, believing and knowing that Darius Tarver, Darius Tarver, Tarver, get the name in your spirit. Darius
Tarver.
Darius
Tarver. Darius.
Did not die, was not born to come into this world. Darius Tarver. We're not going to forget your name, Darius. We're standing tall and standing for you. And it is in the name of Jesus. And in the great name of Jesus' name we pray. Lift your hands high and just give your hands a hand clap of solidarity this afternoon. Amen and amen.
Our first speaker of today, we're going to have representative of this city, Ms. Deb Armantour. Give her a hand.
Today I'm here representing only myself on City Council. I wish I could tell you I was representing all of City Council. I wish I could tell you I
Dave.
was here to say on behalf of the entire City Council that Ryan Spivey and Douglas Downing,
Take
the
this.
two officers who killed Darius Tarver without de-escalation, will no longer work for the city of Denton, will no longer be employed. I wish I could have told you that over a year ago. As soon as this happened, as soon as the first person saw the first video, which should have been public much earlier. I'm angry, as I know you all are angry, that that is not the official view of the city government, but it is a view of the people here, and it is important to know their names. It is considered very controversial for a city council person to come out and say, I think they should be fired for killing one of my constituents. I think it's ridiculous that that's controversial. As far as I'm concerned, that is just basic good governance. So thank you for coming to speak out. Thank you for the Tarver family. And I hope we can see a government, a democracy that really reflects the people and the will of the people. Because, you know, whatever happens in the courts, and we want justice in the courts, the simple justice of firing city employees who murder innocent people while having a mental health crisis, that could have been done with the stroke of a pen as soon as the truth of what happened became evident. Thank you.
Next, we're going to have up our attorney, Mr. Lee Merritt. Give Mr. Lee a hand.
Attorney General Lee Merritt.
There you go.
Can you all hear me? Yeah. All right, thank you all so much for coming out. I've been representing this family now for a year, and I honestly believe that Darius Tarver is going to change this county. This county is changing. And it's an arcade of leaders that we have here who are not willing to acknowledge the change. And so our job is to dismantle the system that exists and replace them with people like Deb, people like yourselves who are willing to step up and do what's right. The governor of Georgia, the governor of Texas, Governor Adams, declared that there is a mental health state of emergency in Texas, in this state of the state. He said that there's a mental health crisis that we have to address. He said we provided no provisions to do so. He said there's a mental health crisis that we're all experiencing because of stress of the virus that we've all survived. We're experiencing a mental health crisis, and there's something that needs to be done. We've offered no plan to do. When Darius' roommates and his neighbors called law enforcement, they explained that there was someone carrying a pan, and that's why a lot of you all brought your pans today. They was banging out windows, and they was acting bizarrely. Law enforcement showed up with 4 trained officers. Four officers on the ground, and the first step was to de-escalate. But they decided that Darius appeared to be on drugs. They said that he appeared to be someone who was out and this level of their training. And they said, all right, we're going to surround him. We're going to look for Deb's weapons. They weren't treating him like someone that needed to get help. Those 4 officers said that Darius needed to those 4 officers decided that Darius' life essentially didn't matter. If we are going to we're going to change the system. Since Darius, there have been had mental health crisis in their homes, mental health crisis in public spaces, and law enforcement continues to respond with violence. We're saying, we're asking our law enforcement officers, our law enforcement individuals to begin to respond to individuals suffering crisis, the resources that they need in order to address the crisis. I'm brokenhearted that Darius couldn't be here with us, but I know that if there's 2 or 3 people gathered, then that's enough. There were 4 people who integrated like counties in the South. This is our stance now. With the amount of people who are here today, I believe that we can change Denton, we can change North Texas, we can really change this country. We don't need to add any more names to the hashtags. We don't need to add any more names to the Rolodex in order to get to justice. The question is what now? We need to replace the district attorney for Denton County.
Amen.
The district attorney didn't bother to call this family and let them know they were presenting the case to the grand jury. Paul Johnson,
Cowards.
the elected official, when he first met him, he had no interest in a life loss. If someone's life is lost, they don't want to come back. That's their last opportunity. It's the most serious thing that we the people, elect our officials to deal with. And so when we say, as a people, we come together and say we don't consent to the murder of Darius Tarver, we don't consent to a government that says that's okay. We need a strategy to deal with people. When we first got involved in Georgia after the murder of Ahmaud Arbery, we had a Clayton County was much like Denton County, where the local officials in 74 days said that was okay. And so our next step, when local officials failed to act, we took it to the state level and started speaking with the federal government. Mr. Tarver, Denton Tarver, and his wife traveled with me last year to Washington, D.C. To meet with the Senate, to meet with the White House, before we back in the to ask for federal intervention in Denton County. Denton County needs a pattern and practice investigation into their entire department. Because
Yes.
the police are going down with the mayor, the chief of police, they said that's what they trained Officer Spivey and down in the community. That their behavior was illegal. And when I spoke with Chief Dixon offline, I said we have 4 trained officers in town. You can't even 1 kid who experienced crisis under control without murdering him. He admitted that no, that his officers should have been trained to do that. But publicly, he felt that that's the only form of policing that we should be able to accept. If we're going to change this, our call now needs to be amplified to the Department of Justice here locally, to the White House, to practice investigation into all of Denton County. The only way this changes is if we draw the line in the sand here and say not another person that we can stand for Darius Tarver. And in order to do that, we're not going to simply conform. And so I'm proud that we're ladies and officers understanding to that community. And we're going to tie these families together in a tie. The struggle of Darius Tarver, the struggle of Marvin Scott, the struggle of Jackson Warren Sr., the struggle of Tatiana Jefferson, the struggle of both Zone. We're going to say enough is enough today. And if we're going to get past this as a community, we need new policy. We need accountability for officers failing. So we demand that officers down and that officers fight. The carjack crime, as a community of Denton, and as a family, and as a group of taxpayers, when we stand up, we set certain precedents and demand our specific outcome. And I thank Deb so much for standing and great
you're going to stay with us and you're going to fight with us? How many believe in justice? How many are going to stand and fight for justice? And next we're going to have somebody that has experienced the mistreatment of Denton PD. And we're going to invite Mr. J up and tell his story.
Hello everybody, my name is Jay. I don't know if everyone's up to date with my story with the bike light incident, but I think it's really important to express how much the aftermath of like being treated so harshly or so intensely by the police and just like what just like I guess the trauma of like not having justice stays with you for your entire life. Or I mean, it's almost been like 7 months, and it has affected my relationships, my friendships, my career, my housing. So I think it's important to remember that this is not it's not something that you can think about and move on. It's an effort that you have to make every day in everything that you do to fight systematic racism or to hold other people accountable for the injustices that you see every day. I think it's also important to, I mean, the saying "no justice, no peace" is so important. I think it's honestly like affirmation I honestly say every day. I think a lot about like just the families. I think a lot about yeah. Sorry, this is always hard when I go up here. Thank you guys for the support. I think stay on top of your shit. Like, that's all I can tell everybody. It's so important to stay, like, go out, vote. Not only that, but like just pay attention to like who you're electing. Not only that, but just like hold other people accountable. The justice system is trash. The way it works, like if you're not there, if you could donate to like bail bondsmen, like do that in your free time, because like the amount of people who like stay in jail and then they get a court-appointed lawyer, and then the lawyer's like, oh, you have probation, and they're like stuck in the system for like a year, and like they have to take like urine tests or urine samples and stuff like that, and they're like trapped back in the system, and it's just set up for them to go to jail again. Like, please, there's so much that goes into that is beyond just like police stopping you. Like the whole system is like set up to fail us. So it's very important, like if you are not by POC, or like if you're it is important to look out for your friends. I would still be in jail if it wasn't for my friends. And every day I'm thankful, and I'm trying to do the best with what I have. So we are not here to grieve, but we're here to make a change. And Darius Tarver's name is not in vain. Like, Darius Tarver lives in me, and Darius Tarver lives in Denton, and I'm going to see a change. Like, before I die, I'm going to see a change. So I'm really excited to see it. All right.
Now give him another hand. We're going to have Mr. Anthony come up. I'm just going to kind of give you a refresher of one of the things that most people are not familiar with or don't remember when this case first happened.
All right, how sounds it? Oh, there we go. Hey, y'all. So my name is Anthony. I'm a reporter. You know, you can tell I'm out here today. But I was also reporting on Darius Tarver last year. I was one of the only students, at least at the news station at the time, that was invested in the story to continue pursuing it. And I was at the press conference live. I was there when they showed us the footage. And I want to remind everybody kind of what happened at that press conference. They got everybody together, Denton PD. It was just press, Denton PD, and they gathered us in this room and they broke down the video, the footage. They broke down the footage. This 5-minute interaction somehow lasted an hour-long press conference. Every couple seconds, there'd be a stop and a breakdown explaining, justifying the officer's actions, the words they were speaking, that this is going to be a problem. He's breaking things. What's he been up to? I was granted the information as a journalist. I was able to review the footage. I was able to look at the footage of each officer's body cam. They give you the audio in each officer's body cam. And I think one of the things that was, I haven't seen still, but I don't really want to hold on to it anymore, but there was one more officer, I forgot her name, but she's on the phone with the roommates in the car, I think for about a minute or so, trying to communicate with him to clarify and make sure that everything is okay. And while she's talking with the roommates, with one of the roommates, he goes on to say, I'm not really sure if this is the proper response. And right after that, you hear the first gunshot. And I don't really know. When I think about this case, when I think about how we're here a year later, having to now go for a federal review, it just hurts. It just hurts because Darius Tarver had such a bright future. He was a student. He was a young man who was growing. He wanted to be a part of justice. He wanted to bring change, and guess what, y'all? He is. Darius Tarver is going to bring justice, and we are going to bring justice for him. Because what happened last year wasn't right, and justice needs to be served. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's a couple more people that we had on the roster. I'm not sure if they made it yet. Is Lorenzo with UNT? Is Lorenzo here? Kristen Milberg.
Thank you for inviting me up here. I didn't have anything
Anthony
prepared,
Gout.
but I just wanted to thank everybody for coming
Anthony
out.
Gout.
This is the first of many 2021 events we will have. working with the Justice Network. If you haven't already gone onto the website, it is djtjusticenetwork.org. And really just working together with the community. I know there's a few other groups here today, the Denton Bail Fund. We have a couple other organizations that we've all come together. We want to keep this message alive in the community, and thank you so much for saying there is change happening in Denton County. I really think there is something special happening here, and whether that's the people out here or the people that have yet to come out here, hopefully we can keep this going and keep the message alive, because exactly what the reporter was just talking about, and I'm sure you guys have talked online with people. They look at a video, they think they know what they are seeing, but what they are not seeing is the value of human life, and that is what we are here to make sure people do not ignore anymore.
Well, I guess it's my time since everybody in here, but we want to value your time. And we just want to let everybody know we really appreciate everybody that's came out and support, everybody that's standing here today. You didn't have to share your time with us, but because you did, that lets us know that you really care and you're really about change and you really want to help make a difference. So we are standing here and we're going to continue to stand together. We're going to continue to make a difference. And as I tell people all the time, I'm not anti-police. I am not against law enforcement. I'm a part of law enforcement, but I am against injustice and I am against corruption, and I will stand against injustice and I will stand against corruption. And we're going to continue to fight. And one of the things is that when this first happened, this is something that nobody ever wants to experience. Now we're connected with so many families that have experienced this. This is a club that nobody wants to be in. So when I fight and when I stand, I'm not just fighting and standing because of Darius, but I'm fighting because of you. I'm fighting because of your families. I'm fighting because of your children. I'm fighting because we have to have change. I don't want to see other families go through what my family is yet going through. And the only way to do that, because they'll tell you this was okay. They'll tell you this is justified. They'll say this works, but let me tell you, over 400 years ago, they said slavery was legal. They said hanging was legal. The selling of human beings was legal. Hanging from a tree was legal. And just to walk into one of these stores for a black African American was illegal. So there's a lot of things that have been set up through this system that we say is broken, but it's not broken. This system is functioning, but it was built to malfunction, so it didn't and won't work for all people. So until we stand together and we demand change, we won't get change. But because of the movement after George Floyd, because this is one of the biggest movements ever in history, we cannot let this movement die, because it wasn't just George Floyd, but something has happened to somebody in every state, every day. But guess what? It's not televised. It's not shown. When we did the March on Washington, there was thousands of families there that had lost their sons. They had lost their mothers. They lost their fathers and sisters, their brothers, and nobody knew about it because they were forced into not talking about it. Attorneys couldn't take the case because they were threatened. Families couldn't do what they needed to because they didn't have the money. So there's a lot of things that's still going on in 2020, 2021 that has been going on for centuries. But we're standing today saying we're not going to take it anymore. And coming from a spiritual background, I had to ask God, why this happened to me? Why did this happen to my son? If many of you don't know, the accident that he had the week before, God could have taken his life, but God spared his life. And I speak to each one of you right now, that if you don't know Christ, get to know him. Because my son, that week, he could have left us, but he was here another week, and I talked to him that Friday, and we spent time, and we ate. I remember the very last words that we said to each other: I love you. But on that same day, I told him, son, you need to give it all to Christ because there's nothing that you can do. God has great works for you. Not knowing he went to several different churches that Sunday until he found one that pulled him in. And when he went into that service, he went to the balcony and he heard a message entitled, "You got to have your own testimony." Darius had a testimony because he was in a almost fatal accident, but God allowed him to walk out. But at the same time, God allowed him to get things right because he, after hearing that message and the altar call was over, Darius was able to, the pastor came back and said, "There's one more that God is telling me that needs to surrender his life." Guess what? That one more was Darius. And he went down and he surrendered his life to Christ. And he said, "I got my own testimony." And he set up his baptism. And the next day was Martin Luther King's day. At 3 o'clock that morning, he was dead. So people say, "Mr. Tarver, I don't see how you fight the way you fight. I don't see how you stand the way you stand." Well, the man that stands before you is not Darius' father, but the man that stands before you is an ambassador for Christ and the kingdom. So when we as men and women are weak, that's when God is strong. So God has had to give me strength to stand before people every day. Every day I live with a nightmare. Every day I have to fight within Kevin in order to override that spirit so I can fight for justice, so I can fight for Darius, so I can fight for you. But one thing that really bothered me was when this story first played out, it happened at 3 o'clock in the morning. I didn't find out until 11 o'clock that morning. The police didn't call me. The coroner's office didn't call me. The medical facilities didn't call me. I got it through one of my kids that was calling me, and only because one of my son's first cousins was in the same complex, and he went around to check on his cousin and found out that it was him that was dead. And not only that, when I went to the crime scene after I'm hearing this, and I go there, I get 2 stories, one from the Texas Ranger and one from Chief Dixon. So already there's confliction. But when you hear in the news, you hear the first thing that Darius came down the stairs and he advanced on officers and they tased him and he went down, but he immediately got up and then he went full on charge at the officers. The officer had to fire 3 rounds, only striking him once. That was a lie. Mm-hmm. And then I had to fight to see what really happened. And I told them at the crime scene, I said, "You know what? I'm gonna give y'all the benefit of the doubt, but I need y'all to be transparent." At no time were they transparent. And that's why we had to fight to get the video. And once we got the video, we went into the Denton police and we sat with Chief Dixon and the Texas Ranger, and one of my witnesses is right here standing. They kept asking me, "Do you really want to see this? It's bad." But they even went on to say they hadn't watched this video yet. They were just getting into it. How many know that was a lie? So as we sat there and watched the video, we're waiting for things to happen as they had pushed out into the media. But what we come to find out is Darius called by name, saying, "DJ, come down, DJ." They said he wouldn't comply, but to me, if he's coming down, he's complying. But at the same time, when he gets to the bottom of the stairway, we're waiting for him to be advanced on the officers as they said he had it did. But when you watch the video, you see him, just when you back up, he points to the sky and said, "My Heavenly Father is my only Lord and Savior." As he come down the stairs, you can see that this was a kid that was going through something. Something's not right. But when he gets to the bottom of the stairway, his hands are to his side, and he continues to say, "My Heavenly Father, my Heavenly Father." He could not communicate. He could not speak. He could not talk. But Chief Dixon said these are well-trained officers. These well-trained officers should have been taught to push a hole. Push means that you go forward because there's somebody in danger or it's an imminent danger, but there was nobody in an imminent danger or there was no imminent threat. So when they stand there and Chief Dixon Dixon says that they could look in his eyes and tell he was about to do something. Well, I don't know what kind of vision or what they have, but I never know any officer or any training that you can look into the eyes and tell what a person's about to do. But if they had been well trained, they would have took time, they would have gave him distance, and they put themselves in a position of cover. TJ had maybe 2 feet to 3 feet in front of him, and they decided to tase him. I don't know how many of you have ever been shot before, but how many of you could stand still after you're shot? So when he falls forward, he's falling, and his back is turned. Most people don't know this, but his back is turned. And when the officer shoots him, he shoots him in the side of his abdomen. How many know that officers are trained to shoot center mass? So when he's falling and he's shot in his side, he falls to the ground. And I don't know if you watched the video, but you will see the meat cleaver that he was supposed to stab an officer with is laying on the ground underneath his head. That's because it was not in his hand. And even as he's on the ground, he's still crying out saying, "My Heavenly Father is my shield." But yet they continue to scream and yell, and even after they kick away the meat cleaver, nobody tries to restrain him. Nobody tries to arrest him. But let me tell you another lie. Chief Dixon reported that they tried to arrest him and he resisted. Chief Dixon said a lot of things that's not true, but that's the leadership you have here in Denton. So when Darius began to get up, the officers are close enough to restrain him. They could have pushed him over and he would have fell on the ground. But instead, when you review the video, you see that all officers step away. They give distance for the same criminal, Officer Douglas Downing, to have a free shot to shoot him again with what they call a non-lethal weapon, which Darius was holding a hand, but if you let them tell it from the beginning, you would have thought he charged the officers with a knife. You would have thought that an officer was stabbed. You would have thought that he was this severe threat that they had to take out with lethal force. But Darius' hands was to his side with a frying pan with 4 officers. And the same officer that shot him once shot him 2 more times, even though they lied and told us he was shot once. I didn't find out he was shot 3 times until his body was at the funeral home.
Officer Douglas
So these
Downing.
things continue to happen. And as long as nobody speaks up, as long as nobody speaks out, there will continue to be corruption. There will continue to be misjustice. There will continue to be social unrest. But I declare, with God as my witness, I stand before you as an ambassador of Christ. And the thing that we're fighting is not all natural, but it's spiritual. And when I say that, we have to fight the spirit with the spirit. That's why in my position, I stand with authority, power, and dominion. That's why I'm not afraid to stand in the very spot. And I don't care about speaking out, because I come against those spirits that are killing, those that are lying, those that are racist, those that are trying to take lives of innocent people, those that stand by blindly and stand not for justice but for corruption. I speak and I stand against them because I will not fear. And as long as you continue to stand with me and my family, you're going to see the works of God. You're going to see victory. You're going to see peace. You're going to see justice. You're going to see things that people said, I don't understand how. But I'm going to tell you how. Because of the God I serve, I will show you, because I am a weapon that God has put in his hands. It's not because I can do anything, but through Christ, we can do all things. So today, I just wanted to re-encourage everyone that has supported us and stood with us. And I wanted to stand before you to let you know we're not going anywhere. We're not going to stop the fight, because the fight is not over. How many know that even in a battle, sometimes you may be a few losses, but in the end, we're going to get the victory. So we got the victory right now. I dare everybody to shout to say victory!
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 Justice!
Justice!
Will!
Heal!
Prevail!
Prevail!
Give yourself applause. And if you heard the song that I played from the beginning, and like I say, go to YouTube, watch the video. It's me, my family, my nephew that is now deceased as well. But there's a message, and I want you to share it with everybody. I want you to share it as much as possible. When we first tried to release it, social media wouldn't allow it because they were saying that it was too controversial because we were showing the truth. So I want everybody to share that, but also support the song Stand Our Ground by Denton Tarver. And also, if you have not yet joined the organization, a lot of people have went on and they joined the Facebook page, DJT Justice Network, but I want you to go and join us in this fight so we can communicate, we can stay together, and we can move together. And you go to DJT, Darius Tarver, DJT. Somebody say Justice.
Justice
Network.
Network.org.
.org. So DJT, Justice Network.org. And I need your support so we can continue to stand, because we can't do this by ourselves. It takes unity. And even Martin Luther King said he dreamed one day that we'll be able to walk hand in hand. I believe that day has come, that we will walk hand together. And we don't have to say free at last, but we're taking our freedom from all this injustice because we're claiming the victory and we demand the victory, and we're not going to take it anymore. So today, at the end of this, I'm saying enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
And anybody that these shirts that I'm wearing, I do have some available. So if anybody wants to support, the $20, I have the small, medium, large, and extra large. So if you want to get a t-shirt to represent, then just see me after this, and we appreciate anything that you do, but stay with us, make sure you stay. And if you haven't joined the DJT Justice Network Facebook page, that's where we keep a lot of updates as well. But I want you to join both DJT Justice Network on Facebook and DJTJusticeNetwork.org so we can continue to fight and stand together. How many are excited about where we're going? Because DJ is going to see victory. So I appreciate you, and I thank you all for sharing this time with us. And we're not going to take any more of it. So God bless you, and we love everybody.
Deb, you want to try that again?
Yeah.
Or you want to take your time to do something else?
I want to say real quick hi to Lee, just in case he leaves.
Sure. I'm going to hang out over here if you want to come chat when you're done. Absolutely. No worries. Thank you. Appreciate you. Hey, good to see ya. Good to see ya. He is just so upset about that other dog. Here, you want to switch me? He wants. Do what? That's right. That's right.
Do we have a next step?
You know, I'm not sure what's. I'm honestly just. I'm not really sure. I'm just kind of hanging out. It's not my show, so you know what I mean? I'm just kind of documenting. I'm not sure. I don't think there's going to be any more speakers. But I'm not really sure what they're planning to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just gonna follow in your shadows then.
That's okay. I didn't know if they were going to march at all or not, but it doesn't look like it. I'm going to try to do an interview with Deb, and then, you know, I'm going to hang out as long as everybody else hangs out. I've got a couple live streams going. I'm live streaming right now, yeah.
Okay, that's good.
So,
you got any feedback?
yeah, there's a few people watching. But, you know, hopefully we'll continue to do this regularly.
Yes. Yeah.
So we can keep it going.
You post everything yourself, right? Or you gotta post everything yourself?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
kind of you.
I'm gonna get some water, and I need another hand to do it. I'll be right back.
Okay.
You want to just throw those back there? You don't have to hold them. But I do need you to hold this for me for a second, if you don't mind. Can you hold this for just a second?
Yeah.
It's a day struggle. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Deb.
Liberty and justice for all. It doesn't apply to us. It is American way of life. We are aware of the motives and agenda. That's why we come together and we've taken a stand. No more turning the other cheek. We'll get justice by all.
So we're going to interview City Council person Deb Armantour here real quick. Yeah, do you mind? Got him? Gonna get away from this speaker. And just because the audio's better, I'm gonna record, I'm gonna do it like this. So you're gonna be on this side.
Which side?
Stand over here next to me.
Stand behind, next to you.
Yeah, because the audio's better. So I'm
Okay.
just gonna come like this and catch you side by side here. So you can just kind of look straight here in the middle, and it'll catch you. Just kind of look right here.
Okay.
You're not really gonna look into either camera, but it'll catch you if you
Better
look.
if I took off my...
It doesn't matter. People can see you.
Okay.
But since you're wearing a mask, I just want to make sure people can hear you. Let's step a little bit further still. The audio's better facing this way. Okay, so this is Denton City Council person Deb Armantour. So again, you just want to look right here in the middle, just kind of in this middle area, not at either camera.
Okay.
So this is Denton City Council person at large, Deb Armantour. And so, as she said earlier, Darius Tarver was a constituent of hers. And Deb, I just want to commend you for your commitment to transparent government and, expediting information to the community any way and every way that you can in a legal capacity. And I just want to applaud you for being willing to speak out against the status quo and the norm standard way of doing things, right?
Thank you.
But I want you to, I know recently there was a discussion, a memo sent you. Can I bring that up?
Sure. I don't know which memo. Which
The
one?
email that you sent me?
Oh, I sent you... bring it up. Bring it
Okay,
up.
cool. So recently, just after the grand jury gave a no bill, meaning that they decided not to prosecute Denton Officer Douglas Downing, who shot and murdered Darius Tarver, largely based on the lies told by Chief of Police Frank Dixon and Denton County District Attorney Paul Johnson. So shortly after that decision was made, Chief Frank Dixon sent an email to all of City Council, including you, regarding the decision made for Douglas Downing, but also stating that he would be, it sounds like he's going to be released from administrative duties as they conclude an investigation, which means we can expect this killer cop to be on our streets soon.
Yeah, it was unclear to. So first of all, that was a public email, so I had no qualms, with anyone who wants to see it. But it was unclear to me exactly what that meant.
They said they were concluding an administrative investigation before making their decision.
Yeah, I have.
But we know it's
questions,
a chance.
I have questions and concerns. At first there was confusion, and I'm still not exactly clear exactly when he was taken, so first he went back to the street, then he was taken off the street.
Yeah, that's been some confusion.
And there was confusion. I tried to pin down a date. At first I thought that it was some, big secret when I was told that he was on desk duty. Mm-hmm. And then when that email came out in the press release, I said, So it's public now. Can I say that now? Because I had found that out late. I felt like I was the last person to know.
Right.
And then I was told it's always been public. And,
Which is
you know,
not
I'm
true.
thinking-
We know
I'm
that's not
thinking, no.
true.
So, yeah, I still have lots of questions.
And what I find interesting, I looked into both Officer Douglas Downing and Officer Spivey, and neither of them have a local Denton residence. So both of these individuals, both of these officers involved in this assault and murder.
They're not a part of the community.
They're not a part of our community. They drive in from outside our community every day, and they have been given, up until very recently, and only because of our efforts to get the information out, they've been given total anonymity by the local.
I'm really glad their names are out. I
Yeah.
didn't know their names, and for the longest time, I didn't know their names at all. And then thanks to Kevin Tarver, the 4 names were out.
Right.
You know, but it actually wasn't until that email from Chief Dixon and that press release that I saw that, you know, Downing is the one who...
So you didn't see my Living Blue in Texas article? where
Oh, I
broke
did,
down.
but I mean, I saw
But
that.
no official acknowledgement. No official, right?
Exactly.
Which is why I did that, because they weren't putting them out there.
Yeah, and Kevin too. He thought, you know, he had figured that these were, but I didn't know. I have been a city council majority met in closed session, the last city council, and gave direction to prevent me from access to confidential information regarding this case. That's illegal. A government body cannot decide to deny another member of that government body confidential information regarding their job. So, you know, I haven't, taken the city to court over that or anything. You know, that's not the kind of person I am. At this point, I should say, because I'm trying to do my job. But
it speaks to their willingness to cover up information, to not be transparent, to deny members of our community information regarding who killed one of our residents.
Exactly. And so now, you know, so I'm shut out. I'm on the outside.
Well, that's nothing new for you.
Yeah, and I mean, no one can accuse me of leaking any confidential information because I've been forbidden from seeing any confidential information. But you know, just based on the video and what I know and what's public, you know, there is no doubt in my mind that that was a murder, a preventable murder. There was absolutely no de-escalation that I can see. And I can't believe that they are still city employees.
You made a good point the other day on a Facebook post I saw that you made, was that I don't know of any other city employees who you can't go online and find their name and their picture that we pay with tax dollars, and yet these are individuals who have guns and shields and qualified immunity, and yet we can't find a picture of Officer Douglas Downing. We've had to use body cam stills. But I'll tell you this, Officer Douglas Downing and Frank Dixon, if you see this, I'll find one. And I'm gonna find one. And his picture will be everywhere if I have to take it myself, because you know what? We know where he works.
Well, you know, for me, I'll say, until I saw their pictures, especially Downing's picture, every officer I saw whose name I didn't know, I thought could it be him? And so now I think it's actually better for everybody else on Denton PD that people know, okay, you're not that guy.
Well, that's just it. I mean, we should know. I mean, it's not like, obviously we can't do anything. No one here is promoting violence. The problem is our cops are violent, right?
Well, this is a movement against violence.
This is a movement against violence.
I thought you were going to say, I guess I didn't show you those emails. I could share. City Council got, I think, 5 emails. I thought there were going to be more. There was only 5, asking for my recall, and because and for me to be censured, etc., because I have, quote, incited a riot, referring to this peaceful, prayerful rally for life, protesting violence today.
Regarding this event, you incited a riot.
Regarding this event. And
this looked like a riot to anyone?
And as you know, I mean, I wasn't even I wasn't one of the, I mean, most of all, importantly, this is a peaceful, prayerful protest against violence.
And you just
against
spoke
police
in solidarity.
brutality.
It wasn't your idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm here to support and to have solidarity. So they were giving me way too much credit.
Isn't it miraculous how these people who are supposed to be protecting and preserving life in our community go out, kill people with qualified immunity for holding a fucking frying pan in the midst of a mental health crisis, and yet we are the violent vigilantes because we're out here standing in solidarity. And once again, what does that say about Pastor Tarver, who's out here praying over a crowd, speaking in solidarity in the name of his Lord and Savior, and they criminalized him just like they criminalized his son, Darius Tarver, who they murdered. So I think that's a good place to end. I thank you so much for being out here in solidarity and for continuing to push against the status quo.
Thank you.
And doing your job.
Yeah, it's my job. Exactly. It's my job. Thank you so much.
Yep, we'll be here. Okay. I'm going to catch an interview, I think, with Pastor Tarver before we go. I'm just going to try to get a quick word from Pastor Tarver. I think it would be wrong if I didn't. I know you want my attention. I'm so sorry, young man. He wants my attention. I don't know who this gentleman is. He seems rather interested in me. Hi.
Hello.
What's going on?
I was intrigued by your shirt. I didn't know if legal observer if it had something to do with what's going on, or was it just
I'm just watching.
That's right. Legal observer. Observing to make sure things stay legal.
That's a good thing.
Yes. Come.
What's his name?
Dava.
Ava?
Mm-hmm.
That's over the second. So is he a black German Shepherd?
Indeed. Yep.
Yeah, he's the second one I've seen my whole life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't.
There's not a whole terrible lot of them. Come over here. Well, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go conduct an interview. Nice to meet you. And those are undercover police officers. Cops. Just making sure my husband knows he's talking to cops. Isn't that interesting how, for some reason, the authorities feel like they need to send out undercover police officers? I could be wrong, obviously, but that was sketchy. Hey! Hi, Flower! Nice to meet you. It's Jessica, officially. Yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah, right on. This is Dava. Dava. Yeah, Dava. Yes, he's a German Shepherd, yeah. Well, I'm just glad that worked out and you didn't end up really being stuck.
I'd just like to know that I was riding the car with like this amazing voice.
Oh, well, it takes all of us, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's working right now.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry. He should have a vest on, but the only one I have right now is a little too big for him. And he doesn't need any more distractions. He's already learning how to navigate cameras and cords, and his biggest thing right now is other dogs. He wants to play. He sounds super vicious when he sees other dogs, but he's really not. But he wants to play. Thank you. He's just a baby.
Is there an Insta for this group?
I believe Pastor Tarver is only on Facebook. I believe it's DJT Justice Network.
DJT Justice?
DJT Justice Network. Yep. And if you you know how to get in touch with me on social media, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you can always just message me and I can get you the link
I found
too.
out about this, actually.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
What were you on that you saw it? Facebook or Insta?
One of them, probably Insta.
Right on. TikTok just took over my account, so
Oh, shit.
that's an awkward situation. Sit. Sit. Good boy. You didn't jet. Okay, cool.
And you're still streaming, so I'm gonna just follow that and see if there's an exit. If not,
I don't think there is. I think it's kind of just turning into a little bit of a mingle session. I think Dave and I are gonna maybe hang out and get a drink somewhere or something afterwards. I'm not sure.
okay.
But I just wanted to make sure I give Pastor Tarver the camera, before I go. I always want to make sure I end on him and just make sure he gets the final word here. Anything he wants to
Yes.
before he shouts before I jet out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm gonna stick around for that.
What are you doing?
Look, the microphones, they already took everything back.
Yeah, I think it's done.
Wrapped it up.
Your tail is so dirty. What'd you do? What'd you do? Are you a good boy? Yeah, he's a good boy. Oh yeah, there we go. There's our killer cops here. Thanks for being here, Anna. I'm just going to take a moment to speak with Pastor Tarver before we wrap it up.
Yeah.
Can I take a few seconds of your time before we end today, Pastor Tarver?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to go like this because the sound is a little better when we come this way. And
Yeah, I'd like to pray for you when you get a chance.
so, what do you think about today's crowd? How do you feel about the way today went down? I know this was our first rally post the grand jury no bill. So how are you feeling?
I feel very confident. I'm really excited for even the amount of people that came out. Everybody was on a positive level. Everybody was in a supportive level, and everybody knows the truth because they've seen the truth. So the thing is there's thousands of other people out there that seen the truth. There's over 200 and some thousand signatures on two petitions requesting for the Department of Justice to come in. So the thing is that we're going to stick with the fight, and I'm just appreciative of everybody that came out to support because that lets me know that I'm not in the fight alone, and there's other people that want to support, and they see that we need change, and we're going to help the citizens of Denton to help bring change.
I was just talking to Councilperson Deb Armantour about the emails that went out describing this rally for justice as a potential riot, accusing her of inciting a riot, which personally I find disgusting because what does that say about you and your call for justice? They're criminalizing you the same as they are your son.
They criminalized Martin Luther King. You know,
Right,
so,
right. It didn't seem very riotous today.
Not at all.
I've never seen a riot in the name of Jesus Christ. Well, that's not true. I guess we have in history, but I didn't see any riots today.
You would have think of Resurrection Weekend or something.
Right. Right. Well, I just want to say I appreciate you being here. I know there are a lot of people in Denton. I know you told people the number one thing they can do right now is to not only like and join your Facebook page for DJT Justice Network, but also to go to djtjusticenetwork.org and become a member, right?
Yes, that's what
the
we're
goal.
looking for. We need that support because the more in numbers, the stronger our strength and the stronger our voice. And as we continue to fight here and fight across the country and merge with other families and organizations, we need workers. We need people that's willing to stand up for what's right and stand against what's wrong.
And we're going to continue to do this regularly out here, from what I understand. We're going to continue to put these officers' names and faces on blast. We're going to make sure people know who the killers are in their community, and we're going to call for justice. And I love that y'all are challenging the county altogether.
Yep, because the thing is Martin Luther King said it best. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So we're here and we're going to fight those injustices because not only Denton need change, but Texas needs change. This is one of the deadliest states in the country.
Right.
So if somebody don't take a stand, we're going to continue to see people lose lives, and I don't want to see other people joining the club that my family is already in.
Well, my condolences to you and your family. I know you just suffered another terrible loss, and your strength is always awe-inspiring, and thank you for your continued commitment to pursuing justice for everyone in Denton, not just your own sons. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your support, and thank you for the continuous fight that you're putting out there to be a voice, to make things relevant so people can see what's going on. So,
that's right.
It means a lot.
All right. Thank you, sir. We'll be in touch. Thank you. All right, y'all, so we're going to call that a wrap for today. Again, go to djtjusticenetwork.org. You can buy a shirt. There's links to petitions that you can sign. Also, you can go find DJT Justice Network on Facebook. But most important, you just want to make sure that you stay in touch with the Tarver family. Heed their calls to action. Also, I know that Lee Merritt, who was here today, has just announced a campaign for Texas Attorney General. So be sure to look into that as well. Thank you so much, and we're going to call it a day.